How do I update my decks? What cards do I need to pick up? If those are the questions on your mind looking at the upcoming DBD2 English release, look no further than this video because we're going to be addressing all of those. Basically, all the cards you need for each nation that you must pick up. They'll be broken down between the generic cards of each nation and the specific ride lines. What's up, folks? It's time for another video, and of course, with DBD2's release coming closer and closer, we need to really talk about the cards that you guys really need to pick up going into this, as well as some cards that are kind of like a maybe. You might be good in the future, might be good for future proofing, but not so hot right now, or might just have some potential in the weeks following this set. I'm gonna go through it in order of nations, and of course let's begin with Dragon Empire. So in terms of generic cards for Dragon Empire that seem to benefit the entire nation, we have Togachirashi. This is a double rare, and it is just amazing. On discard during your turn, you can put it into your soul. It seems like a simple effect, but keep in mind this works when you discard it for the right deck, or in the case of Nirvana, if you discard it for Nirvana skill, or an Overlord if you discard it for Overlord skill. Any Dragon Empire deck that discards in any capacity, even if it's just for the right deck, which I mean every deck does, this will be very nice for, because most decks do use the soul to some capacity, and it's definitely useful to have this as well. And much like how I said triggers and PGs in the set 1 buy list, well, the front triggers this time are going to be that must-have. Parama in this case is of course the 20k shield front trigger for this set. Every nation gets one of these, and you definitely want to pick them up. Not every nation plays them, or not every deck, let's say, plays them, but Dragon Empire definitely does. Gojo, despite being an encounter card, is actually a pretty generic effect. It needs to boost the Vanguard and hit to countercharge 1. For now, it's best in Overlord, which of course forces hits, but at the same time, this might be good in other builds in the future, so I don't think it's bad to pick it up in case a deck needs countercharge in a future ride line, or just in general any other build. Finally, Kizuna Deiji is a very generic card as well, just being a Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 retire. It's not necessarily needed in too many decks right now. Nirvana plays it here and there, Eugene plays it here and there, but you never know when this might come in useful in the future, so I would say this is a pretty safe pickup since it's a low rarity card. Now let's look at the Nirvana support. Of course, Verina Urger, Elgar, whichever way you want to pronounce it, is the must-have here at 4 copies for sure. It's the first way to multi-attack in Nirvana to actually get battle phase overdressing, and of course just, you know, push out 4 to 5 attacks during your turn, which are going to be very, very big. So I think for that reason alone, this is very useful. Damari, in my opinion, is a bit of a maybe. This card is very much like another attack extender, and yeah, that might seem really good. It also retires, but sadly, this is just not really needed right now in Verina, simply because you can use that deck space for something else, and essentially, like, the extra attack that Damari produces is quite small, and so it just kind of falls flat overall, but you never know, it might be useful in the future, so it doesn't hurt to pick up maybe 2 or 3 copies. Horns of Blessing is kind of in the same camp. I think that there isn't really much space for it right now in the deck, but it is a really cool way to cycle cards. There have been some builds that have topped that do run it, so I think it could be useful, especially with new forms of Verina coming out in the future. This might just be even better as we go on with future sets, so I don't think it hurts to pick up a few copies of this one either. And the last card for Nirvana is Aruna. So Aruna is very necessary in the deck. She's generally run as like a 3 to 4 copies, and she basically is used to boost the Trickstar for an 80k column or 28 on Persona Ride before you use the Verina Urger skill to go into it. So I think Aruna is just a common, so it's definitely easy to pick up as well. Next up is Overlord, the brand new ride line and encounter card. Of course, Overlord itself is going to be a must-have at 4 copies if you are building this deck, but only if you are. And of course, his supporting encounter cards such as Nahalem, which of course forces extra power, and, you know, calls itself out when ridden over by him as well. Berserk Dragon is in the same pile as well. You know, it is directly Overlord support, it's a nice 15k attacker, and it lets you also retire your opponent's rear guards, which is very nice. Bruce Rock Dragon is like a maybe. I don't think this card is necessarily needed, but it is nice if people start really actively counterplaying you as an Overlord player. It's a nice way to pull stuff up to attack into it with Overlord to then get the restand, so that could be an option too, and it's a pretty low rarity card as well. Gojo here, while it was kind of said as a good generic card, is a must-have card in Overlord, because of course Overlord makes it so that when it attacks rear guards, it cannot be guarded from hand, and so you can generally confirm hits when you boost the Overlord, and so of course boosting it with a Gojo means you're going to get that counter charge back as well. Bar is also a fantastic card. Not only is it part of the ride line, of course, acting as a Conroe from way back in the day, but it's also a strong booster. And finally, Flame Dragon Bombardment is a huge maybe. It's been seen in some builds for Overlord, so you could make a point for it, but I think you can kind of forego it. If you really want to pick it up, maybe just a couple copies. Finally, we have Eugene support. Idris is the double rare support here for the set. Idris is generally okay. Basically just lets you either, you know, convert a Cattle Blast into a, you know, 15k attacker, or you're able to just put him into the soul to choose the opponent's rearguard and retire it. Both effects are nice, and it is appreciated in Eugene as well. So if you want to pick it up, that would be a 4 of in my opinion in Eugene. Jibra Brachio is definitely a 4 of as well. This card is overall just really nice, as it allows you to essentially Soul Blast 1 and rest itself to retire an opponent's rearguard, and at the beginning of the battle phase it just stands itself again and gets a bit of power. So it's a nice attacker, and you know, helps to push more numbers after that early rush that Eugene typically does. And speaking of early rush and, you know, good grade 1s that the deck has access to, Kizan Reiji is also going to be featured here, because I think this is a really good card in Eugene as like a nice card to just push early with, and then of course just use its skill when necessary to pop specific rearguards. And that's it for Dragon Empire. So now let's take a look at Dark States. In terms of generic cards, we have of course the front trigger, which is Natalia. She is, you know, pretty self-explanatory, just a good front trigger with 20k shield, and is run in both Dark States builds for the most part, so definitely a good pickup here. Next up, the double rare Darius is a maybe from me. You get to essentially Cattle Blast 1 to soul charge 1 and get power, and if you have 3 or more other rearguards, get 10k power. I don't think this is really good in any build right now, but maybe in future ride lines this could be a necessary card. So if you want to kind of like be prepared for the future, if you see this card for cheap, you can pick it up, but otherwise don't worry about it too much. Time Jared Dragon, in my opinion, is a cool generic card, letting you just like cycle a card from hand into soul and just get more card draw. I think it's personally pretty nice. It's not the best card, but that kind of cycle to draw and fill up your soul is definitely nice when it's free. Steam Artist Napier is an interesting little defensive card that I've seen run in some Barrow Magnus deck lists actually, because Barrow Magnus kind of struggles on the shield sometimes, but it can fill up the 5 soul very easily. This 15k shield might actually be kind of handy, much like how the Brody was in early set 1 Bruce. And finally, another big maybe for me, but it's a common, so it's pretty easy to pick up, is Pepiri. So Pepiri is essentially a on Persona Ride Cattle Blast 1 Soul Blast 1, like stop your opponent from PGing, so they cannot guard with grade 1 or greater cards, you know, from their hand. So it does stop them from PGing, so they can only guard with triggers, but it has to boost a rear guard, so it doesn't have that Vanguard pressure. But this could be a nice card in the future. It's a very generic effect, so I could see it being played maybe in some ride lines in the future. Now let's take a look at Bruce, and of course the #1 card that you definitely needed 4 copies is Mr. Leonard. Leonard is a very meta-defining card in itself, just because it is able to make so many multi-attacks with that hit pressure and just control your opponent's board, and in general just dictate the pace of the game very easily. So I think this card is a must-have in my opinion. Definitely, like, if you're a Bruce player, you have to have this. A card that you don't necessarily need is the Mabel. So she's the triple drive enabler that we see as like a 2 of in many Japanese lists, or a 1 of. I personally don't think she's necessary, because you already, like, you're using your Cattle Blast for stuff like Proto Bulb, and I think that in general you don't really necessarily need stuff like Mabel to get that extra triple drive. I know some people really like the art and just want to use her, and I definitely understand that, so maybe like a 2 copies is fine, but I wouldn't really worry about it too much more than that. Hellblast Full Dive, on the other hand, is definitely a 4 of. This is the normal order for the set, and I think is definitely super strong here. You know, it basically is a pseudo Persona Ride, lets you draw an extra card and, like, you know, just cycle cards as well. You know, this card basically makes your Persona Ride turns even stronger, or if you're in Final Rush on turn 4 and you didn't Persona Ride, it basically emulates it for you, which is also really good. Monitoring Gear Dober is a very important card as well. It's a nice little grade 1 that just tucks itself into the soul and then gives another unit plus 10k for the whole turn. So if you're going to be restanding something, you can attack with something boosted by Dober, and then give that 10k to a unit that hasn't attacked yet, attack with it, then attack with Bruce to restand it, and attack with it once more. So you get the full use out of that plus 10k from the Dober, and because it goes to the soul, you can actually call it back out with Leonard next turn, or sorry, not next turn, next battle even. So that's also really nice. And finally, we have the Violence Yell, which is the Blitz order for Bruce. We've seen this played in several Japanese lists. It's a very nice condition. It's a 20k shield by just, you know, giving your Bruce that 20k power. It's free, no cost necessary. Of course, it's 1 less offensive card in your deck, but when your whole deck is already amazing and you have just a couple spots left for it, or even 1, it's not a bad card to put in. So definitely think about picking this one up too, especially since it's just a common. And now for Barrow Magnus. Barrow Magnus got some interesting support in this set. Some cards great, some cards kind of okay. Crimson Igspeller, so Igspeller is a nice way that they kind of localize the name, is a pretty strong card. It gives you early soul charge and it lets you stay aggressive while soul charging and hitting that, you know, soul threshold for the deck. And on top of that, it has utility in the soul as well to give you that extra Vanguard power too, which is definitely quite nice, and also converts into another soul, so it doesn't actually like lose you that soul. So I definitely think that's a 4 of in Barrow Magnus. Cleave Muddler is a maybe. I've seen some people test around with it, but I personally don't think the card is that good. So if you don't really like have the funds for it, then I would just ignore it and just think about Crimson Igspeller for now. But maybe in the future this will be more necessary. Freeze Breeze is a pretty cool hit pressure card. You know, these slower Barrow Magnus builds really want that hit pressure to just like, you know, pressure your opponent with that 10 soul and things like that. So that's definitely a really nice card to pick up at a couple copies. Supernatural Extraction can be picked up at like 2, 3, or maybe even 4. This is basically your Proto Bulb for the deck, letting you basically discard a card to like soul charge 3 and then take a card from your soul into your hand. It does cost the Counterblast as well, but it's a strong order, basically a Proto Bulb for the deck. And finally, Jabina is a pretty interesting kind of like Battledore effect. If you don't know what Battledore is, it's quite literally Jabina's effect, where you are able to, you know, force your opponent to guard with 2 cards, which is pretty nice when your opponent has a low hand and only PGs in hand, meaning they can't, you know, use... I think TIE Fighter mentioned something along the lines of like, you know, if they have 2 PGs in hand and then you use Jabina, they suddenly have to discard for it, or like use both PGs at once and then they can't guard the last attack. So it's pretty cool. All right, that's it for Dark States. Now let's take a look at Brand Gate. So first things first, we have Maranorm for the generic support. If you don't have Bubble Mine, I think this card is pretty okay. Not so much in Seraph Snow, but in Orphist, you can definitely make use of this as your kind of like backup countercharger. Again, if you don't have access to Bubble Mine, I think that it is pretty important. Eclipsed Moonlight, I am going to put under the generic section here because we've seen this card used as a 4 of in Seraph Snow to just make a 15k beater, and I can definitely see this being used in future ride lines as well. So I think like if you're interested in Brand Gate at all, this is a nice little common to pick up because you never know, this might just be useful as just generating a 15k attacker. And of course the Front Trigger and Pyro is also going to be very, very good. For Orphist, there's quite a few cards to talk about. First things first, we have Alviderd, definitely a 4 of here, simply because, you know, it's a 15k attacker, which means the same strength as a token, but also lets you get rid of your tokens to actually take out your opponent's cards, which is really, really nice. You can take out Interceptors, you can take out your own back row if you're playing against Bruce, you can take out your opponent's like pesky stuff in the back row, like if they're hiding like Arena Arcs in there or something. It's just a really strong card overall, so you definitely want it as a 4 of. Thumberino is also a fantastic grade 1, simply because it gives you a huge power boost. Like it's a 38k attack with its skill 48 on Persona Ride, which is just a number that's like outside of the Vanguard, nothing else really reaches. I mean, even Orphist as a Vanguard reaches 33. So yeah, it's definitely a very strong card that you want to pick up for sure. Merisma for me is a huge maybe. This is like a world card searcher. I've seen it in some lists. I'm personally not a big fan of it because I feel like if you whiff it, it's just kind of like a vanilla that's hitting for less than a trigger. So it's kind of like, oh, why did you like keep it in hand? I'm not a big fan of it, but I know some people do play it, so you could pick that up as well. And Ikolpa is another option if you don't have Bubble Mine or you don't want to buy the other countercharger Maranorm in this set. You could pick up Ikolpa just because she is another countercharger. So again, you have quite a lot of options if you don't have Bubble Mine. If you don't want to get the other countercharger in this set, this is definitely a good option too. And it also gets rid of your Shadow Army tokens, which means you can clear out your back row against matchups like Bruce. Estret is apparently the English name of this card. We called it Istolate this whole time. I think this card is amazing. It lets you basically pop one of your own rears to pop and force your opponent to pop a rear as well. So that happens in your end phase, and if it survives, happens during your opponent's end phase too, and then it can happen again in your end phase. So you kind of control your opponent's board while also making sure that your board is built the way that it needs to be for the specific matchup. So I think this card is definitely a good card. Maybe like 3 to 4 copies is a good number. Now, we don't really need Soul too much in the current build, but maybe in the future we will. So Alteppo isn't a bad pickup either. For now, she's definitely not necessary, but in the future she could become useful if we suddenly start using the Soul very aggressively. Eclipsed Moonlight is the final card for Orphist. It's just a fantastic order. You know, you only run it as like a 1 or 2 copies in the deck because you generally search it from your grade 1, but it generates a lot of aggression for the deck, and I think for that reason it is very important. Alright, now it's time to take a look at Seraph Snow. Of course, this deck got some crazy support in this set. Suddenly went from being super sleeper to being a top meta contender. The first card, of course, is Perio Turquoise. Just a nice payoff for playing Prison, basically. This lets your opponent be put in a tricky situation of, do I want to bring my stuff out of prison? If I do, they're going to get minus power. Doesn't feel too good. Just a great card overall. Definitely a 4 copies type of card. Derry Violet is currently a meta call. She's basically a perfect guard against units that are grade 2, but the cool thing is you can actually call her down as an attacker, attack with her, and then intercept with her, and use her skill to act as a perfect guard. So much like Brody was in set 1 for Bruce. Or not as a perfect guard, but you know what I mean. Some lists run her at like 2 or 3 copies. I've even seen some with 4. It really depends on the meta, right? If Bastion is really popular where you are, this card won't do that much. But of course, if you live somewhere where it's all Bruces and like any other deck like Verena, this will be huge. This will be very, very big. So kind of read the room and see what the meta is and how many copies of Derry Violet you should play. Bagu Motor, oh my god, this card quite literally saved this deck in my opinion, giving you an easy drop zone in prison just like that for resting him is really, really good, and definitely a 4 of the you must pick up. Same goes for 24-hour coverage. It's a normal order that rips out a card from your opponent's hand and puts it in the prison, which can make it so that you can beat your opponent easier during those final push turns. And of course, just in general, I mean, taking cards out of your opponent's hand to imprison them was only possible with the grade 2 from the Riot Line before, so now being able to do it every turn if you want to is really, really strong. Birette Canary is pretty interesting too. She lets you like execute stuff in the prison, which is also, you know, kind of edgy when you think about it, but she is a nice card. Like, you can basically make your opponent put something in the prison from their hand, and then you're like, oh yeah, you thought you were getting this back? Nope. So this could be an interesting pickup. It's just a common, so it's not expensive or anything, so it could be quite nice. Rodent Azalea is also a nice card. She's a 13k booster, and we've seen some people build like Bash, like beatdown police, where you basically have a bunch of 15k attackers, and then with 13k boosters you make 28k columns. You also run the new order in this as well to make 15k like Shadow Army tokens, to just like have 28 at all times while imprisoning your opponent's stuff. It's pretty interesting, so you could pick her up if you want to build that version of the deck. And a blitz order that I personally really like is Explosive Melting Heart. So this Macross 7 level of a title card is pretty nice. Lets you basically minus 5k on your opponent's unit for each card in your prison for the whole turn. So for example, in deck like Bruce, you can choose a rear guard and give it minus 10, minus 15 or whatever, and then basically for that whole turn it's gonna stay with that minus power, which is really nice. This also works with Overlord. Like with Overlord, you can minus their power even if you can't guard, and then even if they restand, they're still gonna be on minus power, which is pretty cool, I think. Now let's move on to Keter Sanctuary. So in terms of generic cards, Referzos is basically quite the generic grade 3. We've seen it played in quite a lot of different decks. It's an okay card, you don't really have to have it, but you know, it works on Persona Ride by being a boost grade 3, and then when a unit in front of him stands, which like a lot of builds have restanding rear guards, you can actually, you know, stand him as well, so he restands as a booster. It's an okay card, not really like a must have, but if you want to be safe, it's not a bad pickup. Alpac, the front trigger, is definitely a must have those, so definitely make sure you have that too. And I think Capald is a nice grade 2 that just generates some advantage. Pretty generic too, so you can splash it into virtually anything, so I think for that reason it is also quite useful. For Bastion, we have 3 specific cards that are played in the deck, which are of course Form Up, O Chosen Knights. Oh, what an amazing order. You definitely want to pick this up as a 4 copies, gives your Bastion extra drive check, another chance to hit that grade 3 from the drive check. Just super fantastic. It's only a rare, definitely pick up 4 copies for this deck. The rest of the cards are kind of maybes. Like Prideful Dragon isn't really great right now because of the meta. It's cool that you can count out one Soul Boss 1 and like technically give it a crit for your whole turn, so when you restand it with Bastion skill it still has that crit. It's nice, definitely nice, but right now the meta definitely is not for it. And Noble Will is a really beautiful blitz order that I could see played, but right now it's also just kind of like, we have Cockabiel at home, so we don't really need Noble Will for the time being. For Hex Orb, we also have 3 cards. I think the best one is Diaglass Sorceress. This card is just super nice, giving you essentially superior calls even if you're just on grade 2. Can almost 1 discard 1 and look at top 2 and call 2 units from among them. A lot of people play a lot of grade 3s in the deck still just because they can actually superior call grade 3s on their grade 2 turn, which is really huge. But of course, builds not using grade 3s are also being really popular because you can call into more pieces that help you push that aggression. Olwain is also a very nice grade 2, just giving you the ability to check even more of your top deck, which is definitely fantastic. The deck was definitely lacking more ways to check the top deck, so I think this is a very welcome addition to the deck. The final kind of maybe is Octadevote Sorceress. So she's a countercharger, and you can also pop her, which is quite nice because that way you also clear your own board here and there against certain matchups that might be necessary. I don't personally run her myself, but I think she could be quite useful in this deck. And now moving on to the new ride line, which is Phantom Blaster Dragon. So of course, if you want to build this deck, you will need Phantom Blaster Dragon himself. Darkness Maiden Maka is pretty interesting. She's a 15k attacker and lets you Soul Blast 1 and retire a card to look at top 5 and call a grade 1. So she kind of like trades 1 for 1, but lets you use any on-call effects, or just lets you find another card, which is the Brunner. But you mainly use her for the 15k attacker function. Of course, Blaster Dark is part of the ride line and lets you drive check twice on turn 2, which is very nice, and is also a potential 15k attacker, which is quite strong. The Brunner, the 5k power witch, is also very important for this deck because when you retire for Phantom Blaster Dragon's skill, she counts herself as 2 cards when you need to retire 3, so she's very important as well. Virulence Dragon is an option, lets you power up your blasters, and of course you have Blaster Dark, Javelin, and Phantom Blaster Dragon, so it can be useful for that reason, just to push extra power on the board. Blaster Javelin himself lets you essentially call the top card of your deck as a ride line unit, but of course otherwise he's a 10k booster as long as you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its name, and the Virulence can power him up too. And finally, the Karen is a nice card just because on play you can rest it, look at the top card of your deck and call it, and at the end of the turn retire it. But of course you can also retire it for Phantom Blaster Dragon before it gets retired by Karen's effect, so that is also very nice. And the final nation is of course Stoicheia. We have a few generic cards, of course the Frenzied Harris, so the front trigger is very important here, very generic, important for Zorga, not so important for Magnolia though, but still a worthy pickup. Shield Fisher Dragon, I guess we can put under the generics. It's an 18k base card, I guess, which is pretty useful in premium. I don't know how useful it will be in standard, but some people have been exploring with this card as well. Coffin Shooter, in my opinion, is a pretty nice generic card as well. Letting itself be revived from the drop zone for a Soul Blast and Binding in Order is pretty nice, especially when both Stoicheia decks are playing a fair bit of orders right now. The first Stoicheia deck we'll look at is of course Magnolia. The must-have first off is the Miners, so this one's definitely a 4 of. It lets you have 5 attacks potentially on turn 3 already, and just giving you more payoff for playing, you know, Magnolia in general. Urgula is another card that's super important as a 4 of. Lets you move around cards like Kusi from the Festival collection, which is super good, so we definitely want her as 4 copies as well. Wild Intelligence is an amazing order, letting us mill our deck and revive cards, and revive 2 if we have Magnolia on the Vanguard Circle too, which is just super fantastic. Like, this order is just really good for all, you know, intents and purposes. And finally, the Elrante, the elephant, is very good because finally we have Soul Charge in Magnolia, and it's pretty easy to achieve, right? If you have 2 or more units in front of it, gets 5k, but if there are 3 or more, gets the Soul Charge 1 ability. So what that means is you have to attack with it from the back row, because if there's a unit in front of it, on your side of the field there's 1 unit in front of it, and then if your opponent has a whole column, then in front of this unit basically, then you get the Soul Charge 1 as well, which is very cool. And then for Zorga, there's a lot of interesting cards. Some are great, some are okay. First one of which is a must-have, that is Rogue Headhunter, 4 times for sure. Lets you basically just have a strong booster and also refund Counterblast for your Alchemagics, making it so that you can actually last longer in a game and not run out of gas for the late game as well. I think this card is a must. The Regurgitation from the Underworld as well is a super strong order, letting you actually have a retire option in the deck, which the deck didn't have before, and just being able to revive 2 cards is really good, and I think just a super fantastic card that you can combine with Alchemagic too. Fleet Swallower is a nice little like pressure card as well. The Soul Blast 1 can get a bit annoying sometimes because you do start running out of it, but 15k attacker with the Guard Restrict is just super solid. Fairy of Tragic Love is an okay card. I've seen some people use it, some people not, and it lets you kind of just like take an order from your bind zone back to hand. I don't think this card is necessarily that good, but this could be useful in the future, so it might not be bad to pick up a few copies right now. Sleeve Tugging Bell is definitely a nice like 1 or 2 of, just like in the late game, once you have like all your orders bound and you don't have anything to Alchemagic with anymore, or you didn't draw into anything and just have 1 order in hand, this will literally save you and be a very strong booster at the same time, so I think for that reason you definitely want it. Nectar of Sensationalism is also super nice. It's a really generic card too. You basically give a rearguard plus 5k for every 5 cards in your drop zone, and if you have 15 or more, you give it a crit too, which is super strong. Like, not just in standard but in premium as well, this card has some crazy potential. Iron Anchor, I guess if you want to play budget Zorga, but then keep in mind you lose any kind of abilities that, you know, like order cards that say you have to have a Zorga Vanguard, like the Grief, Despair, and Rejection, but I guess is an interesting card. Langina, I've also seen some players use as a sort of defensive option for the deck as well. She allows you to have like a 15k shield when you have 3 or more order cards in your drop and bind zone, which is very easy for Zorga, and I think some people definitely do like this kind of defensive option in decks and like try to make the most out of it, so I think it is pretty interesting. And finally, Overcoming the Unnatural Death lets you essentially just recycle your order card, so you can kind of take back your Ghost Chases and any other orders from your drop zone into your hand. I don't think it's super necessary, but I've seen some lists run as a 1 or a 2 of, so it doesn't hurt to pick up since it's just a common. And that's basically it for all the cards that I recommend you guys to pick up. Of course, I hope I've explained well enough which cards are really important and which cards might be good in the future, and it doesn't hurt to pick them up because they're like commons and rares and generally pretty accessible. If you need help with any deck builds, I did post a video of my example builds for every single ride line in this set, so that will hopefully help you guys make your first builds going into this set's release as well. I'm also planning to make a general video just talking about the best cards from this set as well, and just in general what I think impacted the meta and impacted specific decks the most, but that will be coming out a bit later. I'll also be doing a lot of box openings for this set, so you can look forward to that, and maybe even some 5 videos. I've already been doing some Tabletop Simulator 5 videos for some of my favorite decks from Overdress, so you can check those out as well if you haven't already. If you like this video, please do show some support by liking it, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Gotta say my usual YouTuber stuff, but it really does go a long way, and I do appreciate it a lot. If you want to catch me live, I also stream on twitch.tv/differentfight. I'm actually opening some boxes live on Twitch as well for this set, and if you want to see me play some games live, that's the place to go. If you also need to pick up any Overdress product, you can head over to parcage.com and use the discount code DIFFERENT5 for 5% discount at checkout on your order. It'll be a great way to support the channel, and you can also get all your stuff that you need for DBD2 for these decks and the cards that we mentioned. But anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.